Welcome to day number 3 of 12 Days of Itch.y, a series where I go over 12 random games that I find on various websites and I tell you about them one day at a time, all the way leading up to Christmas. Butcher's Creek is an upcoming game from David Zemensky, one of the main people that worked on the excellent My Friendly Neighborhood. There is currently a demo available which gives a decent chunk of what I can only presume to be the introduction of the game to sink your teeth into. It follows in the very same footsteps that were laid out before it with the likes of Manhunt and more specifically and importantly, Condemned Criminal Origins. Condemned is a unique, bright, shining spot on the horror gaming legacy as it left a pretty huge impression on people when it was initially released as a 360 launch title, but sadly has really not been replicated in any real meaningful capacity outside of some homages here and there since its release. What has excited me about Butcher's Creek, however, beyond the person making the game, is that it promises to be a spiritual successor, at least to some extent, to the Condemned formula, with some unique twists. The entire demo is filled with grimy and disgusting locations, brutal enemies that will relentlessly attack you if you're spotted, several melee weapons that you can pick up with their own unique stats, and a simple parry system. Aesthetically, Butcher's Creek is everything I would want out of a spiritual successor to Condemned. It adds a few subtle changes to the central style of the original Condemned game, and the ability to regain health by using your camera to photograph blood and gore that lies around the levels. What makes this mechanic really neat though is that while you can't photograph the recently created corpses that you've compiled around the level, you do get extra health back if you photograph recently smeared blood on the walls or floor from the people that you've killed. This adds a neat little dynamic of trying to force enemies against the wall so you could smear the walls with that red, delicious life goop. As it stands right now, my only real complaints are that the weight of the combat feels a bit off. The camera never really moves when you swing your weapons, leaving the feel of the game to be rather stiff and awkward, which would normally be, normal for a horror game. But in a game like Condemned that is all about visceral and intense, by the skin of your teeth combat, I think that making the weight of your attacks feel heavier would only be beneficial. As it stands though, this is a true spiritual successor to Condemned, albeit in a small, condensed indie version. There is a lot of promise for Butcher's Creek, and the full game comes out in early January 2025, so keep an eye out. It's a gonna be a good.